our resource person for the day with us. Yesterday, he discussed about the basics of the Java programming, and today we'll be discussing more about the running of the program. So we'll be starting just in 2 seconds. Before that, I request everyone to please open their camera so that we can have one photograph. Yesterday, we forgot to take that one. If you can please open our cameras for just few seconds. Everyone, all the participants also, I request. I request our Danish Khan sir, Dr. Danish Khan, to take one picture, screenshot. Sir, can we have? Please, again, I request that everyone have to, yes, start the camera. Just for few seconds only. Yes, you are all looking handsome. Just have a smile on your face. Yes, that's good. Yes, sir. Danish sir, done? Yeah, okay. Jitne ho utne le lijiye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. So now I hand over the mic to our resource person for the day, Professor Anant Raj. Yes, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Perfectly audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Sir, very good afternoon once again to everyone. I hope I am audible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, thank you so much. Sir, let me share this slides. Yes. Okay, let us enter into the second day of the session. So in the previous day, we have discussed few concepts. Okay, this is also, we are just skipping this one. Coming for the contents of today's, we are going to discuss about the variables, identifiers, data types, operators, and control structures. Yeah. Just this for the yesterday's revision, what happened, what had happened. Revision. So yesterday we have ended our concept explaining about this particular program. It's a very sample program we can take in. Class, sample means class name, and we have specified each and everything detailedly in yesterday's class. Yesterday's session, that's public, static, void, main, what actually the functionalities of them, and what string of args or string args of means. Later, we also discussed about the system.out.println and what it does. After writing this program, we are going to save this program with the extension of .java with the file name. Later, we will do two processes, that is compilation and execution. After doing these two things, yesterday we are also discussed about this Java code will be, after compiling, it will be converted into bytecode. So this is the bytecode which makes Java special and helps the programmers to carry this particular program to any other platforms. Okay, and we go with we continue this one. I hope you remember all these concepts which we have discussed in the yesterday's class. Later. Now we are going to discuss about the variables. What actually the variable means? Variable is a container which holds the value while the Java program is executed. Basically, what we are saying that variable which holds the value, it is going to maintain the value. Okay, and second point says the variable is assigned with a data type. So the variable is depend upon the data type. The third point says about variable is the name of memory location. So when we are creating a variable, then that means what? We are creating a memory location also. Let us have a brief discussion about these concepts. We can see this example below. First one, what we have written is int data is equal to 50 semicolon. Okay, int space data is equal to 50 semicolon. In Java programming language, there was a study says that 80% of the errors comes because of missing the semicolon. So semicolon is very, very important. It is used to specify the compiler that the statement is ended. So each and every statement should be end with semicolon. Okay, and coming with the particular example, int space data is equal to 50. If we are writing like this and semicolon, that means what? First one, int specifies the data type. Now later we discuss about the data type also. Here int is going to describe about the data type. Next, data. Data is going to describe about the variable name. So whatever the name that we are going to create, the variable name will be specified immediately after the data type. Later, 50 is used to specify the value of the variable. So that means whatever the value which we are going to store in the variable will be specified over here. Now let me have a diagrammatic representation also, so that we can have a proper picture on what we are discussing. Imagine the same example I have taken. What happens if we compile the statement? Int space data is equal to 50 semicolon. We already knew that whatever the data, whatever the operations that is happening in our computer will be executed from the RAM. So memory, having two different types of memories are there in our computer. One is primary memory, secondary memory. Correct? In the primary memory, there are again two types, RAM and ROM. This RAM is a temporary memory which stores the information until unless it is having an electricity. Now, why I am specifying about the RAM this much? The reason is, whichever the program you are taking, for example, you are playing a video game. The video game will be executed only. For example, you are playing a music. Even the music will be executed from the RAM. So each and every time when execution is going on, when process is going on, means it is happening in the RAM itself. That's the reason RAM plays a very, very major role. When we are purchasing any devices, obviously we go for the best RAM, correct? Okay, fine. Now here the statement is also going to execute, going to be run in the RAM only. So let us see one by one what happens. First, int. What this particular int specifies? Int specifies the data type, as we know. Immediately what happens in the RAM? You can see in the RAM, 4 bytes of memory block is been created. The size of int is 4 bytes. That means 4 bytes of space will be allocated, or 4 bytes of block will be created in the RAM. Later, we can see down one memory address will be given. The memory address will be generated. Okay, I'm repeating. Whenever the compiler sees int, then immediately it will create 4 bytes of memory block and assigning one memory address for it. Immediately, next statement, next keyword what we are using is data. Whenever the compiler sees the data, that means the variable name, then this particular memory block, whatever is created, will be named with that particular name. Here, since we specified data, then this memory block's name is data. Okay, data. Now, next one. Immediately after is equal to, we have seen 50. So whenever the value is given, after is equal to, it specifies the value of the variable. What happens is, inside the block, inside the memory space, the value will be saved. I hope you are getting my point. I'm just use the pen. So integer is going to create a memory space, and by specifying some memory address, the data is the name of the variable. For example, I have written int a is equal to 40. Imagine if int a is equal to 40, then this particular block name will be a. Okay, then what happens? This 40 will be assigned into a. This 40 will be assigned into a. That means this a variable will store the value of 40. That is the meaning of it. Now later the program will access, that means compiler will access this value of 40 based on the memory addresses. Okay, based on this memory address, whatever the memory address we have given, based on this part. But we will use the variable name to identify the values. Okay. Before going further, I think it is better to understand about what is this particular part, what is meant by data types. So let us have a look on it. Data types. Data types specifies the different sizes and values that can be stored in a variable. Simple. Now I think we can understand very easily. Already in the previous specifying the size of the size and the value. Okay. Now let us continue with this. See, I think you are able to see the diagram also on the screen. This diagram specifies different types of data types. Basically, the data type is of two kinds: primitive data type and non-primitive data type. These primitive and non-primitive data types again further divided. We are not going to discuss about the non-primitive data types in this 3-day sessions, but we are going to discuss. But we are going to do simple programs on these primitive data types. Now, again, the primitive data types are divided into Boolean and numeric. Boolean, whenever you listen Boolean, that means it carries two values, either true or false. Boolean values are either true or false. Coming to the next one, numeric. This numeric is further divided into two: character and integral. First one is character. Character will say about the character. C-H-A-R, char. We will pronounce it as a char when we are writing the programs. Char is one of the data type. As we use int, char is also used. Boolean also used. Okay. This will store the characters. We will see later in the next slide what it will store the information. And coming to the integrals, there are different types. One is integer and floating point. Integers are again further divided into 4 different types basing on the sizes. Nothing more than that. If you go for the other programming languages like C, C++, also we find the same thing. But there you may not find byte. In Java, byte is introduced. So somebody's raised their hands? Damini, you have any doubt? Oh, yes, we'll continue. So based on the sizes, there are different types of data types available. Okay. Now coming to the floating point, there are 2 different types of floating points are there. First is float, and another one is double. These 2 are used for the decimal values. Normally, when we are writing any numbers, for example, take when we are asking for the temperature. So today's temperature might be, we can say 23.4. No, this decimal values. To use this type of decimal values, we use floating points. These are called floating points. We use 2 different types of data types. If you are specifying concrete values, for example, how many marks you got? Okay, we say 90 marks. These are exact, so these are concrete values. When we are specifying about this particular concrete and constant values, we use integers. Whenever we are using any decimal values like this, that in those situations, we will use the floating points. I hope you are following me. Now we continue. In the data types, there are a few different types of data types are available in our Java. So let us see this table. This table specifies the data type, default value, and default size. If you are specifying any variable with a Boolean data type, then by default it will be false, and size will be 1 bit. That means in the memory location, 1 bit of block will be created. 1 bit of block will be created. I hope you know the differences between bits and bytes. If anybody doesn't know, let me have a small discussion about it. 1 bit. Bit means it will store the value either 0 or 1. 1 bit means what? It will store the value either 0 or 1. Only 1 bit can be stored. Okay. And byte. What is byte? Byte means 8 bits. 8 bits. Okay. Byte means 8 bits. 2 byte means 16 bits. Very similar. Just we multiply it. I hope you understood. Bit means which carries either 0 or 1. Byte means which holds 8 bits values. Clear with this? Yes. Let us continue. CARE will store 2 bytes of data. And when compared to the byte, it will store 1 byte of data. That means 8 bits. Short will store 2 bytes of data. Whenever the variable is declared with a data type short, then obviously 2 bytes of information will be allocated. Please. Yeah, sorry for the interrupt. So these are the different types of data types we can see. Yes. If you take the long will carries 8 bytes of data. That means almost like 8 into 8 bits. Okay. So this will be the different type of sizes will be available. And we see, we can understand with the previous example what we have considered. If a variable is storing a block of data, for example, as a previous example, we have taken this one, int data is equal to 50, correct? That means we are going to store the one block of space will be available where 4 bytes of data is given and the value of 50 will be inside it. The value of 50 will be inside it, correct? So in this case, depends upon the data types. For example, if I am taking a character, then only 2 bytes of memory will be allocated here. If I am taking any variable of double, then 8 bytes of memory will be allocated here. So it depends upon the size of the variables, data types, depends upon the data types, the size of the variable will be varies. This is the main important point we have to remember when we are doing any programming. Okay. Now let us see the sizes. No, whatever the sizes it is provided by the Java programming. See, 1 byte will store the values, the range of values from -128 to 127. Short will store the values from -32,768 to 32,767. So when we are specifying a variable with short, we cannot write 33,000 number. Okay, short A is equal to 33,000 is invalid. Got it? If you want to specify any values within this range, so you are allowed to write. If you are having very huge number of values, then obviously we have to take the better data types, very similar long type of data types and double. These are the biggest data types we can see in Java programming language. Okay, I think further not to continue about these explanations because it speak about the different types of values. We'll move forward. Now we will going to discuss about the variables. What are basically variables? Variables are, I'm just repeating, variables are the spaces or the blocks where we can store the data. It depends upon the sizes of the data types. It depends upon the sizes of the data types. Let us see 3 different types of variables we have: local variable, instance variable, static variable. First, we take this example program. This is how the program almost will looks like. Public class A. So we are specifying one class of class name A. And here we are going to specify one variable, specifying the static keyword. Int m is equal to 100. In this case, m is a variable name, 100 is a value, int is a data type, static is a static keyword. Again, if you come further, we are using one method. Methods are the functions we will discuss in the further next class. They are called functions. Inside the function block, we are declaring one more variable. This variable says int data type, n variable name, 90 is a value. So this is what we used in the previous example. Coming further down, here where actually we have written the main. Yesterday we have discussed main is a function or main is a method where actually the program will begins. Main is a function where actually the program will begins. In this case, we are writing one inside the main. We are specifying one values. Int data is equal to 50. So very similar to this one, but there is a minute difference between these two. Let us see what it is. The first thing what we have specified is a static variable. Why it is called a static variable? Because we are using the keyword static. Yesterday, as the brief note, we have discussed the static. Static doesn't need any invocation. So it is like our friend. No, without any calling, people will come to our parties. So static will be similar to that. Here, when we are writing static before a variable, it is like universal. So no need to write again and again. If I don't want to write the same value again and again throughout my program, then I will declare it as a static. Then the m value will become constant. Whenever we are using m value, then 100 will be there as a synonym for the m. Okay. Now next one is a local variable declaration. Int n is equal to 90. Why it is local? Why it is local? Because we can see this variable declaration, the scope of the variable declaration is within this method. Scope means till where we can able to utilize that variable. We cannot use this variable away from these two flower braces. So we have to use this. If you want to use that variable, n is equal to 90, then we have to use this inside the flower braces. We cannot use it away from the flower braces. Okay, that is why it is called local. No, we are locally strong because when we are inside local one our region, we are very strong. If you are moving away from our region, we cannot do many things as we do inside locally. Correct? This is what we say, locally we are strong. Here also this applies the same thing. Here the local variable is very strong over here. That means to say the scope, the range of the variable is within these two flower braces. Later, instance variables. It is an instance variables because it is it's a variable which is written in the main function. Whatever the variables which are written in the main function can be accessed in the program. We continue with the examples. Let me take the 3 examples. So here where we write the simple 3 examples. Public class main. Main is a class name. And we are writing the public static void main. That's a very common statement. String of args. Here we write string. Now you may ask, what is a string? I have not thought till now. Yes. String is a class name. Okay. With the help of class name, we are creating one variable. This is now not a variable. This is an object. String name is equal to John. Now this John will be stored in the name. If you want to print with the help of this printing statement, then whichever value it is stored in the name will be printed on the screen. That means in this case, name John will be printed on the screen. Coming to the next example. Public static void main, till how everything is same. Int. So here I am declaring the variable. Declaring means what? I am specifying. So this is the variable that is I am going to use in the program, and this size of this variable should be int. That means now what happened? The compiler is going to create one block of memory, giving the name int num of space 4 bytes, as we have seen in the previous slides. Now, next statement. This is called assignment. Now already the block of empty block is there. In this empty block, 15 value will be stored. Okay. Later, when we are printing this particular variable, 15 number will be displayed as an output. Now we go for the next one. Third example. Here I am using another data type that is called float. Very similar to int, but here the small change is I am using the decimal values rather normal integer values. Decimal values which includes dot, that means decimal, that is mantissa. Okay, followed by f. Always remember, when we are writing floats, we have to specify f in the end of the value. If you don't want to specify f, you may get confused. That means if you want to ignore that f, instead of float, you may use double. What's the difference between double and float is it differs with the sizes. For example, I don't want to use very big values of decimals. I need only small values. Then you have to go with the float. If you want to use very big values, then obviously we go for the double. Even though I am having small values, if you are using the double, only disadvantage is we are wasting the memory. Okay, the programming language always tries to save the memory. That means within the less space, they try to clear all the program. That means we have to execute the program. Okay, so in this case we are doing the opposite thing. So we have to take care about it. I think we can execute this program. I hope it would be better. Let me check. Let me show the screen. Even this will be helpful for you also. Stop sharing and just stop the sharing. Now I open the browser. Okay, I'm going to open the browser. Yes. I hope my screen is visible
Yes,
for
sir.
everyone.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. So why I am choosing this one? I am having other applications also in my computer, but I am choosing this one is most of the students don't know about the Java, how to install them, and how to execute the program. That's why that we will do in some other session. But for now, these particular compilers are already available for us in online. Everybody is entering through online, so everybody can access these particular compilers. In our mobiles also, we are able to access. Just we can go with this link. I'm just copying. I'll paste this one in our group. Okay, I'll send this link in our group because here I don't have an option. Yeah, I have an option. So I think everybody got this link in the chat box. Please check the Google means our Meet chat box. Google Meet chat box. There you can get the link. So you got it? Can anybody confirm? Can
Yes,
somebody?
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you. So who are interested? No, I prefer you better click on this link. It will opens the browser. Okay. After opening the browser, whatever the text is visible over there, just delete it. Now what we will do is we are going to take the same program as an example. The first program, whatever we have written, I'm just copying and pasting over here. Okay. Public class main. So I'm using the same main here. Now string name is equal to John. System.out.println name. So after writing this program, there is a button over here, run. Just click on it. Then the program will be executed. See, this is the output we got. John we got. For example, instead of John, I'll write welcome to Java. Yes. So we got a proper output. Whatever the values we have given here, we are getting the output. Imagine I have done some mistake intentionally, like I have removed the semicolon. Okay, I removed the semicolon. I remove because some browsers will allow the semicolon also. Yeah. See, I removed the semicolon. Error came for me. What is an error? This is an error. You can see it is in the third line. Main.java having an error at third line. This is third line. Yes. What is an error is semicolon is expected. So we are expecting one semicolon that we have not given. Very simple. It is showing the position also. See, you can observe here. Where actually the semicolon should be. So just we give semicolon. Again, we'll run it. Yes, we got it. We got the answer. Okay. Later. For suppose, I'll just remove these two. We will use our program. For example, I'll write int A is equal to, let me take a variable A only, is equal to 50. Okay. Now, system dot out dot println A. We'll see what the output we get. Yeah, we got an error because we have now forgotten to keep the semicolon. Yes, we got an answer. Yes, just we have printed the value of A, which is 50. The 50 will be printed with the help of this particular statement onto the console. Clear with this? Yes, we move further. For example, I am using float values. Okay, let me use float. I use the decimal values over here 50.35 like that. Okay, I'm using 50.35 as an input. I want to store that float value inside an int space. We'll see what happens. Will it allows or not? If it allows, what will be the output? No, it is not allowing. What then error it shows? Error, incompatible types. What the incompatible types is saying is, you have declared the data type as an int, that means 4 bytes, but you want to store one float value, which is, actually this is not float also, this is of double, because we have not used f. Now double value of 8 bytes. So it cannot. So there is no space. No, 8 bytes cannot be fit into 4 bytes, correct? So that's the reason we got. Anyways, we keep f also. Let us try to convert that into float. Let us check whether it is able to fit or not. It's telling the same thing. See, possibly lossy conversion can be happen if you want to fit it. Float into int. It cannot be converted. It cannot be kept inside. So we have to think, we have to decide what kind of value we want to take, we want to store inside the variable. If you want to store integer values, here we have to specify integer value. If you want to use float values, then obviously here we have to specify float. Then what happens? We are able to use this value. So we are able to print this value without another. If it is without f, let me check, without f. Okay, I have not specified f, that actually this is a value of double of 8 bytes of memory. Float is of only 4 bytes of memory. Let me check what happens. Still, see, both are comes under the float values only, but the problem here again, float values can be hold about 4 bytes of memory. When you come for the double, it holds 8 bytes of memory. Okay, 4 bytes of memory and 8 bytes of memory. If it is holding 8 bytes of memory, this cannot store inside the 4 bytes of memory. That is an error we got. Okay, let me check. Here I'll specify double, and here I specify float. Okay, now I'm trying to fit 4 bytes of value into 8 bytes of value. Let me check whether it's going to be fit or not. Yes, it's going to be fit, adding extra values. See, these values we have not given. It has added extra value. 50.35 is a value that is, instead of giving 5, it continued with the 4. See, these all the values can be written as 5. This added some extra values, and even because the size of the double is 8 bytes. That is the, this is where I want to stress to understand the data types, the importance of the data types when we are creating any program, in the any programs. Okay. Now let us come back to our continuation of the session. I'm just stopping and sharing the screen. Window. Yes. Are you able to see the screen? So screen is visible. We'll just continue.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Yes. Now we move to the next concept of identifiers. I hope you understood about the variables very concretely. Now we go with the identifiers. In programming languages, identifiers are used for the identification purposes. To identify anything else, we use identifiers. Simple. In Java, identifier can be class name. I'm specifying class space name or class space ABC. These are the class names. Okay, names will specify that it is a class. Okay, of type class. Now later method name. So in the previous example, I hope in the program we have seen one of the methods. Even main is also a method. Main we are writing no main, that is also a method. Void main, that's also a method. And next, variable name. Variable name is till now we have discussed about the variable A, B, or int, whatever the variables we are writing. These are the variable names. Let us see. There are some rules and regulations are there when we are specifying the identifiers. Many of the programs, the initial, when the beginner programmers will get confused on this particular condition only. Okay, they get confused what to write here. No, first point is identifiers should be alphanumeric characters, alphabets, combination of alphabets and numbers. Also, dollar symbol is allowed. Also, underscore is allowed. Underscore is different from the hyphen. Don't get confused about hyphen and underscore. Hyphen will be in the middle. The line will be middle of the text. Underscore will be little below. Okay. So this like this. So this is an underscore. Examples. We have written, see the combination of alphabet and numbers in the variable name declaration. It's an identifier, valid one. And underscore, and again variable alphabets and numbers. This is also valid. Here I am using dollar symbol, alphabets and numbers. This is also a valid. Okay. Coming for the next point. Identifiers should not start with digits. Always remember, even though numbers are allowed in the creating of identifiers, so we have to keep in mind that we cannot start the identifiers with numbers. In this case, 1, 2, 3, student, STU, whatever is written here is not valid Java identifier. Okay. And later, Java identifiers are case sensitive. Very, very important point. Case sensitive. What is case? In English, there are two different cases. Alphabets will be in two different cases, uppercase and lower case. Correct? So, capital A is different from small a in Java. Okay. APPLE apple is different from small APPLE apple. So, this one, for example, ace is different from ace. ACE. These two are different. Maybe the spelling is same, the pronunciation is same, but Java will identify both of them as a separate words because of this capital A. Okay, this is called case sensitive. Some programming languages are there like HTML. They are case insensitive. If you write this like this or like this, it will accept. But in Java, we are not allowed to do that one. Okay, and fourth point. There is no limit on the length of the identifier. When you are writing the identifier length, there is no particular limit is there. But that doesn't mean that we will write very long identifiers, because if you are writing very long identifiers, what happens? When we are writing a program, we cannot recollect that one. If any small value or name or character is changed, then that variable will not be identified. So in this case, please write, better to write down 4 characters to 8 characters will be preferable. Okay, whenever we are writing a next one. Very, very important, reserved words or keywords cannot be used as an identifier. There are keywords. Keywords are predefined function words. For example, main. Main is having a definition. Already there is a definition for main. Main is a function from where the Java program will be executed. So we already knew it. We cannot use that main as a variable. Okay, because main is already having defined function, so we cannot use it as a variable, because variable is an empty space, but main is already having some information, so we cannot make this empty. Correct? Very similar way, int cannot be used, or else static cannot be used, or any other if we cannot use. There are almost like 53 reserved words are there in Java. These cannot used for the variables. So these are the few points we have to keep in our mind. So let us enter into the operators very quickly. What are operators? Operators are used to perform the operations on the variables and values. So whatever the operations we are doing are operators only. In this particular program, I just written the simple sum of 3 programs. Actually, in this particular program, we can identify the operators as follows. See, these are the operators. Equal to, plus are the operators. So let us see what they are. In Java, there are 5 different types of operators available: arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, and bitwise operators. We'll see one by one in a brief note. Arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators will do the arithmetic operations. I hope every one of you knew about the block diagram of a computer. No, when we are speaking about block diagram of a computer, there we say one of the unit is arithmetic and logical unit. Correct? That arithmetic operations are done with the help of these arithmetic operators. Okay, arithmetic logical unit. Whatever the arithmetic logical unit is done, is doing in writing the block diagram of a computer. The same. This is the arithmetic operators. Okay, we'll see arithmetic operators. These are operators which we are using in the school also. Plus addition, which adds the 2 values. So x plus y, as an example, we'll take x value and y value will be added together. Okay, subtraction, we know that. Here, multiplication in mathematics, in normal general term, we will use x. Okay, x like symbol we are using for the multiplication. No, like this we will use. Correct? So in computers, we are not going to use that one. In programming language, we are using this operator. This is called asterisk. Okay, this is called asterisk. Asterisk is used for the multiplication. So if you want to multiply any 2 values, we use the asterisk. Later, division. Division also we are in mathematics we are used slash for the division. Here also we use the slash for the division. And now next, modulo division or modulus. Modulus division, what it will does is actually if you are doing any modulo division between 2 values, the remainder will be returned. Okay, the division, if you are doing any division, the quotient will be returned. If you are doing any modulo division, then the remainder will be returned. I think you know about this one, no? When you are using some values here, for example, take 2, and let me take 10 or 2 here. 2 ones are, we will write 2, and we will write the remainder as 0. Correct? So when we are using divisions, then 1 will be returned. When we are using modulo division, then 0 will be returned. Okay, that's the difference between it. Now, other 2 are increment and decrement operators. Increment means what? Plus plus. Plus plus means adding 1 value to the existing value. For example, I am using 3. 3 plus plus means 4. 4 plus plus means 5. Very similar way. 5 minus minus means 4. 4 minus minus means 3. Understood? Adding 1 value for the existing value is nothing but increment and decrement values. Instead of writing 3 plus 1 in program, we will write 3 plus plus. Also plus plus 3, which is called pre-increment. 3 plus plus, which is called post increment. Generally, we will not utilize this increment and decrement operators on the values. We will utilize increment and decrement operators on the variables. variables already stores. For example, x is equal to 4. Okay. In this case, x plus plus is equal to, if you write x plus 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 plus, it gives 5. 5 as a result. Okay, that is the difference. Coming to the next one, assignment operators. Till now, we have already discussed about the equal to symbol. So we already seen the equal to symbol, like x is equal to 5. Now, int x is equal to 5. Equal to, that means what happens? 5 will be stored inside x. 5 will be stored inside x. That is the assignment operators. Along with that, there are different types of assignment operators are there. We'll see. Plus equal, what it will do is x plus is equal to 3 means the meaning of it is x is equal to x plus 3. If x is having 5 in it, 5 plus 3, that means 8 will be stored in the x. X plus is equal to 3 means what? X value, what are the value inside the x, will be added with the 3. Both the values will be combined and will be stored in again in the x. That is the meaning of x plus is equal to 3. Very similar way, x minus 3 is equal to 3. X minus equal to 3 means what? X is equal to x minus 3. That means whatever the value we are having in x will be subtracted by 3 and the result will be stored again in the x. That means instead of creating new variable for storing the result, we can utilize, there are some conditions will happen that we have to store the result of the value in the same variable. Okay, the result of the operation with the same variable. So in this case, we are going to use such type of assignment operators. Also applies if you go with the other operators also, very similar way the assignment operators will work. Now go to the comparison operators. Comparison operators are used to compare the values between two variables. Here we need to understand that comparison operators always brings either true or false as an output. For example, take this example, double equal to. So this equal to is different from the double equal to. When we are using only single equal to, that is assignment operator, which we have discussed previously. When we are using double equal to means what? It indicates that it is asking, we are asking that whether value in x variable is equal to the value in y variable or not. Comparing the x value and the y value. Okay. So in that cases, we will use the double equal to symbol. Next one, not equal to. Here also we use the same comparison. X value is not equal to y or not. That means in this case, if the two values are different, then we will produce the true, that means or 1 as a result. Next, greater than. Compared between the x and y, whether x is greater than y, then it is true. If x is less than y, it is false. Less than also applies the same thing. This is one more important one, that is called x greater than or equal to y. Here, there are two different operators are included, greater than symbol and equal to symbol. What is this greater than and equal to symbol? It will have two options, whether x is equal to y or x is greater than or equal to y, greater than y. If either of the condition is true, it is true. Okay. For example, I am writing x value as 5. Okay. And y value as 6. If I am applying this operation, that means greater than or equal to. That means if x is greater than y or if x is equal to y, then it is correct. But in this case, first point, x is greater than y. Since x is less than y, this operation is false. Now we go for the next one. X is less than or equal to y. X is less than Y or X is equal to Y. In this case, we go with the first one. X is less than Y. X value is 5, Y value is 6. We can understand X is less than Y. That means first condition is true. Later, equal to Y. It is false. No, 5 is not equal to 6. But since the first condition is true, then we will get the true as an output. Okay. So what means, for example, it is Y is equal to, okay, 6, let me take X is also 6. In this case, both the conditions will become true because X is greater than Y, it is false because 6 is not greater than 6. But X is equal to Y. Both are same. So it produces true. Down also, same thing. X is less than Y is false. But X is equal to Y, that is true. That means we are getting true as an output. Okay, these are the comparison operators. Actually, these operators we will use. I will give you example program also today so that we can practice. Now, later, logical operators. Logical operators are the operators which are used to compare more than two comparisons. Especially such type of operators are used for more than one variables are there to compare. For example, let us take logical end. Logical end specifies that here they have taken two different conditions. X is less than 5 and X is less than 10. For example, X value is 7. In this case, X is less than 5. Here we are getting false. But X is less than 10. We are getting true. If there is any end operator between that, that means if both the conditions are true, then only it is true. Any of the condition is false, then the output will be false. If you go for OR, opposite. If both the conditions are true, it will be true. Any of the condition is true, also it will be true, until unless both the conditions are false. Then only it is false. Or else both the conditions are, if any of the conditions are true, then the result will be true only. Okay, these are little bit logical, tricky. I'll take for a simple example to explain end. For example, we are everybody is going to attempt the examinations, right? We are having 5 subjects. Imagine a student is having 5 subjects. He nicely written exam, but unfortunately, one of the days he couldn't attempt the exam. Okay, so he attempted 4 exams, or else he did not prepare properly, so he couldn't attempt the exam properly. So 4 exams he got in 90 marks, but unfortunately, the one exam he got only 9 marks. In this case, the student is pass or fail. Obviously, he is failed. Correct? How you can say he is 90 marks he got in other subjects, only one subject he got 9 marks. How you can say he is failed? Because this is the logic. The logic applies is end. That means all the marks, whatever he got, should be greater than 35 or 33, depends upon the universities. Okay, then only he is passed. But in the last marks, where he got 9, it is not greater than 35. Since at least one condition is false, means all the conditions are become false. The output will be false. That is how we can calculate this end, and also applies ORs in a different way. Coming for the logical NOT, if the operation is true, then output should be false. For example, if you want like that, no, now friends will be like that. No, we'll go to theater. No, we go to the restaurant. No, 2 will be like that. This logical NOT operator will be applies the same. If the result is true, if the operator is having NOT, that means exclamatory mark, that means it will produces the false. Correct opposite to the given result. Okay, going further, We just move. I think almost time is going up. That's why we're going to quickly control structures. This is our last point of today's session, but very, very important, because end of this session, I am going to give few programs, okay, for our practice. Listen properly, because we are going to attempt this one. Okay. A programming language uses control statement to control the flow of execution of a program based on certain conditions. What are the control structures are? The flow of program will be from top to bottom always. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First line, second line, third line. Like that, the flow of program will be continued. But here the control structure speaks about to change the control. For example, I want to hold my control. I don't want to execute the second line after first. I want to execute the fifth line after the first line. That means I am holding the control after the fifth line. Again, I want to move this control to the second line. So like that, if you want to control the flow of execution, we use these control structures. These are the few control structures we can see: if else, nested if else if, and switch case. Let us go in a brief. First one, if condition. If condition specifies the syntax of the if will be like this. Whenever we are writing if condition, if in the parentheses, we will write the condition. Condition means on what basis you want to experiment. On what basis you want to experiment. This one you are writing here. Later, if this condition is satisfied, then whatever the condition you are writing, if it is satisfied, then these statements will be executed. Okay. Let us see this flow chart also. We can understand very easily. Here we are testing the condition. If the condition is true, then the inside body, whatever the statements will be executed, and will continue the execution. If the condition is false, it will not execute this part. It will skip this part and directly goes outside to the next statements. Okay. Go with the if else. If else is little bit extra we have added along with the if condition. If you see the syntax, we can understand clearly. If the condition is true, then block of statements to be executed. If the condition is false, then what happens? In the previous example, just we are going directly to the statements. But here we will specify those conditions also. We will specify the conditions also. These conditions to be executed. Okay, that is the big difference between if and if else. Coming for the if and if else if later, if one condition is there, if condition is true, then statements to be executed. Else, again we are keeping some condition. Else, if the condition is true, then only the statement is executed. If this condition is false, then it moves to the else statement. Here, this is an example for the flowchart to explain. If condition is true, then the statement will be executed. If it is false, it goes to the next statement. Again, it will check whether this condition is true or not. If the condition is true, then this statement will be executed. Or if it is false, then it goes to the next statement. Again, it checks like that. It go on. How many if else ladders we keep? It will continues. Finally, it goes to the else block. Else statements will be executed, and it continues the execution for the next statements. The last condition we can see is a switch statement. Here in the switch statement, we write one expression. Some conditions we will write. Basing on the expressions, the cases will be checked. For example, we will write A is equal to 50. Wherever value is 50, that particular case will be selected and executed. It will not go to the each and every line. Basing on the switch. For example, if in our houses there are 10 fans are there. If you are switch on one fan, that particular fan will be rotated. That means we are selecting only one fan. We are not checking all fans. Correct? Whether fans. Particular fans we are clicking on it. The switches will on. The switch is on. then the particular fan will be rotated. So this is the switch conditions we can see. Let me take some few examples. These are the exercises that you are going to do. I will copy it and paste in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that we can do the programs. But for now, let me execute these particular functions and we will conclude the session today. Okay. Because without executing, we will be in not knowing what is going on. So let me show this particular window. Yes. Yeah. Okay, we are already open the Java compiler over here. Now, see, I'm just taking the few things into consideration. I'm giving int a is equal to 50. Now, a plus is equal to 40 means how much? This is what the operators, assignment operator we are using. No, just I will execute it. Normally the a value is 50, but since we have incremented and restored, see, the value of a will be 90 because 50 is added with 40 and the result will be 90. Okay. Let me take one more variable. B is equal to 40. Now, let me compare these two. Comparison operators we are using. Why I said comparison operators are important? Because in controlling statements, we use the comparison operators. If statement, if A is greater than B, this is the condition we are going to use. If A is greater than B, then what to be happened? System.out.println, we will print the value of A is more. That's it. The value of A is more. We just shift semicolon and we will execute. Since what is an A value? We will just write here the A value of A. System.out.println. The value of A is, and the value of B is. So we keep the both so that we can have an idea about what is. Let's execute this one. The value of so we have now. I have given something else which is wrong. Okay, we will specify separately A and B.
Sir, in sixth line you have written print NL.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is the error. Yeah. I thought something is error. Yeah, we got it. Because online compilers, they have different strategies of compilers. That's why I got confused. Anyway, thank you so much. So the value of A is 90, the value of B is 40. Good. Now we have checked the values with the condition A greater than B. Since value of A is 90 and B is 40, we got a result of this condition. For example, I just write instead of A greater than B, I'll write B less than. We'll run it. So we didn't got anything. Correct? No output came. The reason is no statement we have written. So for that we will write else block. System.out.println This time I write in properly, I hope. Okay, the value of A is lesser. Best, we'll execute this one. We'll see the output. Yeah, now we can see the value of A is lesser. I think we can add smash also. The value of A is lesser, because the reason is, since this condition is false, this condition is, if it is true, it will be executed. Since it is false, A is not less than B, then it is going to the else condition. Again, if I write here one more if A is equal to B, then what happens? We have to print this one. Okay, if I will write this condition separately, I think. I will use here else if I will write here system.out.println. The A and B are same. I just write like that, semicolon. Let me execute this one. So value of A and B are same. Okay, now I'll give 90 over here for B. Let me check what happens. If both values are same, then what we are getting, see, this value, both are same. Okay. Run. Oh. I think I have written wrong slash or what? No, this is correct. Yes. Got it? So this is it depends upon the online compiler, because of the online compiler, no, the values are going here and there. Normally, whenever we are writing print ln means it's specifying the new line. Okay, it will goes to the new line only, always. So here we got it, the result. See, now what happens? The compiler will check first this condition: A less than B or not. No, A is 90, B is 90 now. So A is not less than B. This is false. Since it is false, it's going to the else statement. Now it checks else. Again, one more condition. If A is equal to B, A is equal to 90, B is equal to 90, it's true. Since both are true, we are getting this output. If A is greater than B, then in that case, last one will be produced. What is the last one? Last statement, that is A is lesser than 90. That will be the output of it. Okay, I hope you understood about this else if and statements. We'll go. I will give the few. Let me copy and paste these questions. It would be even better in the chat box, so that we can able to. 3 questions I have given. First one is Java program to print your details. This just print statement we have to use. Second one is Java program to print the area of a circle. So very similar programs, we can do plenty programs. Here I am giving the formula for pi r square also. Pi means 22/7. Okay, we use 22/7. R means for multiplication R, and squares, we use the same symbol for the squaring. Okay, R, or else we can use that twice, R into R, also square of R. Correct. Third program is Java program to find the given number is even or odd. So we will find out the given number is even or odd. How we can find out the given number is even or odd? By finding out the modulo division. If you get the modulo division of 2 is 0, then it is even. Modulo division of 2 is not 0, that it is odd number. So basing on that, we can able to find the even or odd values. I hope you will do these 3 programs. They are very simple programs. And come tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to discuss even more concepts. I hope you understood today's concept. So with this, I'll stop this session. Tomorrow we'll continue the session. Over to you, sir.
So thank you so very much, Professor Manoj Anantraj, for your detailed description about Java and the programming. Like some of the things we have understood today, being a person of non-computer background, even though I could be able to understand few of the things. Okay, so it makes a sense that we be in the session and we must have to learn this type of basics, because it will help us to get more knowledge about Java and how it works. So thank you so much, sir. And your session was today very wonderful today. And your way of presentation was very, very good. And tomorrow we'll be meeting with the same link. By the time,
Sure,
take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.